The night was quiet, but not peaceful. Cold air wrapped around the small house like a warning. Inside, angry voices filled the walls. A poor pregnant woman stood near the door, her hands shaking as she held her swollen stomach. Her name was never spoken with kindness in that house anymore. She was only called a burden now. Her husband stood in front of her, eyes cold, avoiding her face. Behind him, his mother crossed her arms. Filled with hate and pride, his father looked away. Pretending this was not happening, "You bring bad luck," the mother said, her voice sharp. "Since you came here, everything has gone wrong. Now you are pregnant and useless." The woman tried to speak, but fear closed her throat. She had no parents, no money, and no place to go. This house was all she had left. She placed one hand on her belly and whispered softly, "Please, not for me, for the baby." Her husband laughed bitterly. "You think that child will save you? We can barely feed ourselves. Get out." The words hit harder than any slap. Her heart broke quietly. Without sound, tears filled her eyes, but she did not scream. Neighbors watched through half-open doors. Some felt sorry, but no one stepped forward. Silence was safer than kindness. The door was opened. Her small bag was thrown outside. Old clothes, worn shoes, nothing else. The mother-in-law pointed toward the dark road. "Leave before sunrise. You are no longer part of this family." The door slammed shut. The sound echoed in her chest. That sound ended her marriage, her safety, and her past life. She stood outside for a long moment. Frozen, her breath came out as white smoke. Her hands trembled from cold and shock. Slowly, she picked up her bag. She took one last look at the house. No light came on. No one opened the door again. She began to walk. Each step felt heavier than the last. Her feet hurt, but her heart hurt more. As she walked down the empty road, memories attacked her mind. She remembered when her husband once held her hand. When he promised to protect her, everything changed when money disappeared. Love vanished first. Respect followed. She stopped near a broken streetlight. Her legs felt weak. Her stomach tightened with pain. She leaned against a wall, breathing fast. Fear wrapped around her like chains. What if something happens to the baby? She thought. She whispered to her unborn child, "I am sorry, I tried." Rain began to fall slowly. Cold drops touched her face like quiet tears. Her clothes grew wet, heavy, and cold. Her vision blurred. The road spun under her feet. Her strength was leaving her body. She took one step forward, then another. Then her knees gave up. She fell to the ground. Protecting her stomach with both arms, pain shot through her body. Her breathing became shallow. Cars passed. No one stopped. No one noticed the pregnant woman lying on the road. Her eyes slowly closed. Darkness pulled her in. She thought this was the end. Suddenly, bright lights cut through the rain. A black luxury car slowed down near her. The engine sound was deep and calm. The car stopped. The door opened. A man stepped out. His shoes touched the wet road. He looked at the woman on the ground, his eyes filled with shock and concern. "Call a doctor," he said firmly to someone inside the car. He knelt beside her without caring about the rain as he reached out to help her. The woman slowly opened her eyes. She saw a stranger. And then everything went dark again. She did not know who he was. She did not know this moment would change her life forever. She did not know that being thrown out saved her. The rain kept falling. The road stayed silent. But fate had finally stopped to look at her. The woman woke up slowly, her body heavy and weak. Her eyes opened to a white ceiling and soft light. The smell of medicine filled the air. She tried to move, but pain stopped her. Her hand went straight to her stomach. The baby moved gently, still alive. Tears rolled down her face in silence. She did not cry loud. She was too tired for sound. A nurse noticed her waking up and walked closer. "You are safe," the nurse said softly. "Your baby is safe too." Those words kept her breathing. Without them, she would have broken again. The nurse asked about her family. The woman turned her face away. There was no family left to call. She remembered the black car, the man who stepped into the rain, the strong voice telling someone to call a doctor. But when she looked around, he was gone. No flowers, no note, no name. Only a small clinic room in silence. The doctor came later and spoke carefully. He said she was very weak. He said stress could have taken the baby away. "You need rest," he warned. "In a safe place." She nodded slowly. But she knew she had neither. When morning came, she left the clinic quietly. She thanked the staff with lowered eyes. She had no money to pay outside. The city moved like nothing had happened. People walked fast. Cars honked. Life continued without her pain. She walked slowly, one hand on her stomach. Her feet hurt, her back burned. She thought about returning to her husband. But pride and fear stopped her. She remembered his cold eyes, his voice saying, "Get out." She chose hunger over humiliation. By evening, she reached a small park. She sat on a bench and watched families pass by. Children laughed, mother smiled, her chest tightened. She placed her hand on her belly again. "I will protect you," she whispered. That night, she slept sitting up. The bench was cold, the wind cruel. She woke many times, afraid someone might hurt her. Each sound felt dangerous. The next days were harder. She looked for small work, cleaning shops, washing dishes. Some people helped, most ignored her. A shop owner shouted at her for resting. Another woman judged her for being pregnant and alone. She lowered her head and kept moving. Pain became normal. Tears became silent. One afternoon, rain returned. Not heavy, but steady. Her clothes soaked again. She felt dizzy, her vision blurred. She leaned against a wall and breathed slowly. Her heart beat too fast. From across the street, a man watched her. She did not see him, but his eyes never left her. He saw her weakness, her swollen belly, her empty hands. He did not step forward, not yet that night. She found shelter under a broken roof. She hugged herself to stay warm. She talked to her unborn child again. "I do not know where we will sleep tomorrow," she said, "but I promise I will not give up inside her." Something changed. She was still afraid, but she was no longer broken. Days passed slowly. Her body grew weaker, but her will grew stronger. One morning, she felt sharp pain. She sat down quickly, scared. Her breathing became heavy. People passed by. No one stopped. Then a shadow fell over her. She looked up slowly. A familiar pair of shoes stood in front of her, the same shoes from the rainy night. The same calm presence. The man spoke gently. "You again," he said. "Fate is asking me to help." She looked at him with fear and hope mixed together. She wanted to say no. She wanted to run, but her body failed her. Her strength left again as she fell forward. He caught her. This time, he did not disappear. And for the first time since being thrown out, she was not alone anymore. The woman woke up to warmth. Not the warmth of sun, but the warmth of safety. She was lying on a clean bed. Soft sheets touched her skin. The room smelled calm, not like the street for a moment. Fear rushed through her body. She tried to sit up, but her strength was still low. A gentle voice stopped her. "Please do not move. You are safe here." She turned her head slowly. The man from the rain stood near the window. He wore simple clothes. Nothing about him looked rich or powerful. "Where am I?" she asked weakly. "In a guest house," he replied calmly. "A doctor is coming." She pulled the blanket closer, her eyes filled with worry. "I cannot pay," she said quickly. He shook his head. "This is not about money. This is about life." She did not answer. Her eyes lowered. She had heard kind words before that later turned cold. The doctor arrived and checked her carefully. He smiled and nodded. "The baby is strong," he said, "but she must rest." After the doctor left, silence filled the room. The woman stared at her hands. They looked tired, older than her age. "Why are you helping me?" she finally asked. The man paused, because some questions were heavy. "Because no one helped me once," he said quietly. Those words touched something deep inside her. She did not know why, but they felt honest. He brought her food. Simple soup, warm bread. She hesitated before eating. "You do not have to be afraid," he said. "No one will throw you out here." Her hand shook as she held the bowl. Tears dropped into the soup. She cried without sound. Days passed slowly in that house. She rested. She healed. The man never asked her story. He never touched her without permission. He treated her with respect. She learned small things about him. He liked silence. He woke up early. Sometimes he talked on the phone in another room. His voice serious, his words careful. She did not understand his work. She did not ask. One evening, she tried to leave. "I cannot stay forever," she said. "I do not want to be a burden." He looked at her calmly. "You are not a burden. You are a responsibility I chose." That sentence scared her more than kindness. She had learned that promises often break. She told him about her husband, about the night she was thrown out, about the door that closed. He listened without interrupting. His face did not change, but his eyes darkened. "No one deserves that," he said, "especially not a woman carrying life." She stayed. Not because she trusted him fully, but because she trusted her baby. Weeks passed, her body grew stronger. Her smile returned slowly. She laughed one morning. Surprised by her own sound, it felt strange, but good one day. She noticed something odd. Luxury cars parked outside the gate. People in suits waited respectfully. She asked him about it. He smiled lightly. "Work matters," he said, but whispers followed her. Staff treated him with deep respect. Fear mixed with loyalty. That night, she overheard a conversation. "They are waiting for your decision," someone said. "The board cannot move without you." Her heart beat faster. Questions filled her mind. Later, she asked him directly, "Who are you really?" He looked at her for a long moment, then spoke slowly. "My name owns buildings. My signature moves companies." She froze. Understanding hit her hard. "You are rich," she whispered. "Very," he replied. Fear returned instantly. She stepped back. "I do not belong here," she said. He raised his hand gently. "I did not help you because I am rich. I helped you because you were human." She looked into his eyes. There was no pride, no desire, only honesty. That night, she cried again, but this time, not from pain. From confusion and hope mixed together. She did not know this man would change her future. She did not know her past was already catching up. Far away, her husband heard rumors about a pregnant woman living under protection, about a powerful man watching over her, and fate began to turn, slowly, silently. Asterisk life began to move forward for the woman, slowly but clearly. Each morning, she woke up with less fear in her chest. The house no longer felt temporary. Her baby grew strong inside her. Doctors visited often. They spoke with care and respect. She was treated like a human again. Not a burden, not a problem. The man stayed calm and distant. He never crossed lines. He never asked for gratitude. Sometimes she watched him from a distance. The way people bowed their heads slightly when he entered a room. The way decisions stopped until he spoke. She understood now that his power was real, but what confused her was his silence. One afternoon, he gave her documents. "They are for your safety," he said. "Read them when you feel ready." She did not understand the words fully, but she trusted his intention far away. Her old life was falling apart. Her husband lost his job. The small business failed completely. Bills piled up, friends disappeared. The house felt empty and cold. Her mother-in-law blamed everyone, but mostly the woman she threw out. "She took our luck with her," she said bitterly. One evening, a letter arrived. It carried a seal of authority. Her husband's hand shook while opening it. The land was being taken. Debts demanded payment. There was no escape. That same week, rumors spread. People whispered about a powerful businessman, about his attention on a pregnant woman abandoned by her family. Fear replaced pride in her husband's heart. Understanding arrived too late. He searched for her, asked neighbors, followed old paths finally. He stood outside a gate guarded by security, a place he could never afford. When she heard his name, her body stiffened. Old pain woke instantly. Her hands began to shake. The man noticed her fear. "You do not have to see him," he said. "This choice is yours." She took a deep breath. Strength rose from deep inside. "I will face him," she said quietly. The meeting was short. Her husband stood smaller than she remembered. His eyes filled with regret. "I made a mistake," he said. "We were angry, We were scared. She listened without interrupting. Her heart stayed calm. You threw me out when I needed you, she said. You chose pride over life. Tears rolled down his face. He asked for forgiveness. He asked for help. She looked at him for a long moment, then spoke words that surprised even herself. I forgive you, she said, but I will not return. Those words closed a chapter forever. Behind the glass wall, the powerful man watched silently. He did not interfere. Justice did not need force. Later that night, the truth unfolded. The house she was staying in, the care she received, all of it was protected under her name. Legal ownership signed quietly weeks ago. She was not a guest. She was safe by right. When she learned this, fear returned. Why would you do this? She asked him. He looked away briefly. Because someone once saved me, he said, and I promised myself I would do the same. She did not ask more. Some truths wait for the right time. As days passed, news spread quietly. The abandoned wife was no longer weak. Life had shifted sides. Her in-laws lost their home. Not by revenge, but by consequence. She felt no joy in their pain, only peace one morning. She stood by the window, hand on her stomach. Feeling the baby move strongly, she whispered softly, "We survived," behind her. The man prepared to leave for work. His world waited for him, but his eyes stayed on her for a moment longer. Fate had not finished its work yet. The final truth was still hidden, and one last twist waited in silence. The day her baby was born arrived quietly. No shouting, no drama, just soft light and steady hands. She held her child for the first time, a small life resting against her chest. Warm, real, alive. Tears filled her eyes again. But these tears were different. They carried relief. They carried victory. The man stood outside the room. He did not rush in. He waited respectfully. When she invited him inside, he stepped forward slowly. His eyes softened when he saw the baby. "She is strong," he said gently. Just like her mother, days passed in peace. The house felt brighter. The silence felt safe one morning. She noticed something strange. Legal papers placed neatly on the table, her name written clearly. She read slowly. Her heart began to race. The house, the land, the future trust, everything belonged to her child. Protected, untouchable, she felt fear rise again. "This is too much," she said. "I never asked for this." The man nodded calmly. "I know. That is why I chose you." She looked at him with confusion. "What do you mean?" He sat down across from her. For the first time, his voice shook slightly. "I was abandoned once," he said. "As a child, my mother was poor and pregnant. Her breath stopped. The room felt smaller. She was thrown out just like you," he continued. "No one helped her. She did not survive." Silence crashed between them. "I was raised without love," he said. "With money but no family. I promised myself that no woman would suffer like that again." Understanding hit her like lightning. This was not chance. This was purpose at that moment. News reached her old family. The baby was born. The woman was safe. Her mother-in-law came begging again. Kneeling at the gate, crying loudly, security waited for her answer. The woman stood holding her baby. She watched from a distance. Her heart felt calm. "Let her go," she said softly. "She no longer controls my life." That choice shocked everyone. Forgiveness without return. Strength without cruelty. Months passed. The woman learned. She grew. She began helping other abandoned women. Quiet shelters, safe homes. She never used her wealth to show power. She used it to heal one afternoon. She visited her old street. The house, where she was thrown out, stood empty. Dust covered the door. She learned the final truth then. That house now belonged to her, signed under her name long ago. She stood outside, but she did not enter. Some doors are closed forever, not from pain, but from growth. She walked away holding her child, the past behind her, the future open. The man watched from afar, a quiet smile on his face. He had not changed her life with money. He had changed it by stopping when the world did not, and the greatest twist of all remained. The woman everyone threw away became the reason others survived. The silence that once broke her now spoke for many.